It was a deceptively calm Friday morning in North Hollywood, California. February 28, 1997. The sun was shining, birds were singing, and people were going about their daily routines. Little did they know, a storm of violence was about to erupt, forever etching this date into the annals of Los Angeles history. At 9:17 a.m., two men, heavily armed and disguised in body armor, stormed into the Bank of America branch on Laurel Canyon Boulevard. This was not a typical robbery. This was a meticulously planned assault, executed with military precision. The robbers, Larry Phillips and Emil Mătăsăreanu, were no strangers to crime. They had a history of bank robberies, but this time was different. This time, they were armed to the teeth and ready for war. What started as a bank robbery quickly escalated into one of the most intense and chaotic shootouts in American history. For 44 terrifying minutes, the streets of North Hollywood became a war zone. The deafening roar of gunfire replaced the usual sounds of the city. Terrified residents and bystanders scrambled for cover as bullets ricocheted off buildings and cars. The North Hollywood Shootout, as it would come to be known, was a terrifying spectacle of violence that left an indelible mark on all who witnessed it. Phillips and Mătăsăreanu had spent months meticulously planning their attack. They studied the bank's layout, timed the police response, and modified their weapons for maximum firepower. Their arsenal was chilling: fully automatic rifles, thousands of rounds of ammunition, and homemade body armor. Their goal was not just to rob the bank, but to wage war on the police. They stormed into the bank, firing their weapons indiscriminately, sending terrified customers and employees diving for cover. Screams filled the air as the robbers barked orders demanding access to the vault. The robbers were ruthless and efficient, their movements practiced and coordinated. They herded customers and employees into the vault, their faces hidden behind grotesque masks. The robbers believed their body armor would make them invincible. They thought they could outgun and outmaneuver the police, but they underestimated the courage and determination of the officers who answered the call that day. The first police officers arrived on the scene within minutes. They were met with a hail of gunfire. The robbers, armed with military-grade weapons, had a significant firepower advantage. Police handguns were no match for the robbers' armor-piercing bullets. The officers found themselves pinned down, taking cover behind their patrol cars. Despite the danger, officers bravely held their ground, exchanging fire with the robbers and protecting civilians. Calls for backup went out, and soon the streets were flooded with police officers, SWAT teams, and helicopters. Section 4. A city under siege: eyewitness accounts and personal stories. The shootout transfixed the city and the nation. News helicopters broadcast live footage of the gun battle, the deafening sound of automatic gunfire filling living rooms across the country. Terrified residents huddled in their homes, listening to the sounds of war erupting on their streets. One witness, a young woman named Sarah, recalled the moment the shooting started. "I was driving to work, and all of a sudden, I heard this loud popping sound. I thought it was fireworks at first, but then I saw the bullets hitting the car in front of me." John, a bank teller working that day, recounted the terror inside the bank. "When they came in shooting, I thought I was going to die. I could hear the bullets hitting the wall behind me." These harrowing stories paint a vivid picture of the fear and chaos that gripped North Hollywood that day. The shootout was a stark reminder that even in the safety of our own communities, violence can erupt without warning. Section 5. The aftermath, casualties, and consequences. After 44 agonizing minutes, the shootout finally came to an end. Phillips lay dead on the sidewalk, killed by a self-inflicted gunshot wound after being wounded by police. Mătăsăreanu, though severely wounded, continued to fire on police officers until he bled to death from his injuries. Miraculously, no civilians were killed in the crossfire. However, 11 police officers and 7 civilians were injured. The streets of North Hollywood resembled a war zone. Cars were riddled with bullet holes, buildings were scarred by gunfire, and shattered glass littered the ground. The shootout sent shockwaves through the city and the nation. Section 6. The North Hollywood Shootout's impact. A turning point for law enforcement. The North Hollywood shootout was a wake-up call for law enforcement agencies across the country. It exposed the vulnerabilities of police officers facing heavily armed criminals. In the aftermath of the shootout, there was a nationwide push to equip police officers with better firepower and body armor. Police departments began investing in high-powered rifles and bulletproof vests, capable of withstanding armor-piercing rounds. SWAT teams were trained and equipped to respond to similar incidents more effectively. The shootout led to significant changes in police training and tactics. Officers were trained to engage heavily armed suspects from a distance and to use cover and concealment more effectively. The North Hollywood shootout was a turning point in law enforcement history. It forced police departments to adapt to the changing landscape of crime and violence. Section 7. The legacy of a shootout: lessons learned and lives changed. The North Hollywood shootout was a tragedy that left an enduring legacy. It serves as a reminder of the courage of first responders who risk their lives every day to protect their communities. It also highlights the importance of constant vigilance, preparedness in the face of evolving threats. The shootout led to significant improvements in law enforcement training, equipment, and tactics. These changes have undoubtedly saved lives and made our communities safer. But the memory of that day serves as a constant reminder of the human cost of violence and the ever-present need for peace. The North Hollywood shootout may have happened over 2 decades ago, but its lessons continue to resonate today. It is a story of chaos and courage, of loss and resilience, and it is a story that must be told and remembered.